Good morning, we're off to boot camp today. It's 24 degrees outside and it's only 7:20 in the morning. Can you believe that? We've already entered a heat wave officially. There are hosepipe bans as well. It's going to be a glorious day outside. Yes, we're off to boot camp today. My daughter Jessica, she applied for the BFI TV and Film Bootcamp training cluster. She got in. I'm going as well, which is great stuff because I do love my movies and TV. I'm not too sure what to expect. It's at BeaconsfieldStudios, which is obviously in Beaconsfield, so it's quite a trip. So I'm going to go and pick her up in a minute. I'm going to put on screen now what the day involves. So day one, Friday the 11th of July 2025 at 9:30, that's what time we've got to be there. It's opening and welcome introductions. 9:45 is director's cut, unleash your inner director. That sounds interesting. 11:30 we're going to have a break. 11:45 design dreams on screen. That also sounds quite interesting. 13:45 we're going to have a lunch break. That's quite late for a lunch break. 14:30 we come back and it's cinematic wonders, cinematography framing the extraordinary. That sounds really good because it involves storytelling. And then 16:30 we're going to do, oh gosh, we're going to do a practical exercise. I'm not looking forward to that. And then 5 o'clock it's the end of the day. That's all I can say about day one. It's a 2-day course. Places are limited, so we are so lucky to get a place, especially both of us, or me tagging along. Really lucky to get a place. Looking forward to it. Let's go and get Jessica, pick her up, and she can tell you more about it. I'll see you in a bit. Jessica is on board now, so we're all ready to go. How are you?
Very tired. Very early in the morning.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What are you hoping to get out of the BFI cluster bootcamp?
I think I'm just hoping to find what I like in out of all the skills that they're going to teach in these sessions, and then hopefully that will be able to push me on further to develop it further in the future. Because
you've done a few extra ones you put in for, didn't you?
Yes,
I want to tell everyone what you did?
I did a SFX and makeup one I've applied for. I've also applied for a game development one, and I think I also applied for a directing one as well. Cool.
Well, good luck, and hopefully
you'll
be accepted. Okay, we're all set to go. Let's head off to Beaconsfield. Okay, so we just parked up. We're just going to try and get a coffee because we've got about 35 minutes until we're due to go in. We have gone past the studios, which is just over there. I've parked the car off-site. I can park it on-site tomorrow, but parked it off-site and down a side road because obviously it's free parking. So I can't see much around here, but if we can find somewhere to have a coffee, we'll have a coffee. If not, we'll
walk around.
Yeah, just walk around for 30 minutes, waste a bit of time, and then head off inside. Okay, I'll catch up with you soon. You don't see that every day in someone's garden. Okay, so we've just been told that this is the old town, which pretty much explains it really, because it's very small, there's no Costa. We are slightly running out of time, so I'm not actually too sure we're going to make the new town or not. We'll see how it goes for time, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to make that 20-minute walk, so we're staying in Old Town before we head to the studios. Look at the sky. Beautiful blue sky. Okay?
There's a wasp. No.
Got a wasp. She hates wasps, and it's really weird when your daughter keeps calling you bro.
It's just It's just what I do. It's like all everyone, but...
Alright, let's head off to the studios. So we've arrived at Beaconsfield Studios. I'm laughing because this is about the third time I've shot this. Not because I've made a mistake, but cars keep coming. I'm going to get run over. You can see the studios behind me. We're going to head inside, get checked in by security. I don't think I'm going to be able to film inside the studios. So I'll catch up with you a bit later, let you know how it's going on. So that's the first day over. We're just walking back to the car. We had a big group today, 40 in our group on day one, which is quite a big group. Now you can imagine that in a teaching room
with no air conditioning.
No air conditioning on 30 odd degrees heat. It was very, very hot. The day started off with a guy coming in called Gene Ma, who's a film production designer, and he's a director. He's done production. He had a lot of good things to say, didn't he?
Yes. For me, I liked how he talked about his miniature art designs, because he works on the art production. So he would create these model boxes, which would be a way for everyone to see the scene, ways to shoot it with the lighting and stuff. I thought that was something I did not know that happened, so
he was on production and design on the Netflix series, wasn't it? Destiny Warrior. It was based on the video game. He also created a brilliant miniature set of The Godfather.
It was really
with the lighting
amazing.
Going around, and it was all miniature. I thought that was really, really good.
And he also talked about how hard it was actually to do the research to create that model box.
Yeah.
Because the lighting was quite difficult to see what was in the scene, so he had to do a lot of research.
And he worked on the film Eximo film. He did quite a lot. That was his own film, I think it was. Yeah. And he pointed out that he needed 7 sets, but he had to get the sets down to 3 because of the budget. And the only way to do that is to reuse the backdrops, which is doable. And it's very clever if you listen to what he says. I'm just reading off. I've taken some notes down, so I'm just actually looking at my notes. He also said, together with the art department, I've got my hand in the way, see? Together with the art department, designs, builds, decorates, and makes adjustments to help the director. Then we had a break, and then after the break, we had a guy come in called Richard Blanchard.
Blanchard, yeah.
Blanchard, you
There
know,
we go.
he's worked on The Empire Strikes Back and Mission Impossible. This guy is a film photographer, and he takes photos. He's taken photos of so many actors, pretty much every actor.
Yeah.
He's also got a book out, which I'll show on screen now, and he had some good things to say as well, didn't he? You know, it's, if you want to be a film photographer, you have to. So basically, you have to have proof of concept, and it's called sizzles. And you've got to have 3 minutes of photography to sort of prove that you're capable and good enough for that.
An interesting thing he said is because of the budget, like you wouldn't have a budget for these sizzles, you can always take clips off of like other projects that have been completed, and you didn't have to have permission for those. It's just an idea of what it would look like when you produce it.
That's right, yeah. And you know, he's worked with so many people. He said, like Helen Mirren, for instance, she'll come on set and she'll know instantly what camera lens you're actually using, and she'll adjust her position for that camera lens. I suppose that comes with experience and stuff. Someone asked, you know, what actors are like to work with, and he said, you come across all sorts, but he said Sylvester Stallone is a really difficult person to actually work with, and you know, as a cinema photographer, you have to bite your lip sometimes. So these are guys that are taking actual photos of live action scenes and stuff. He did show us, well, it was in his book, like the Empire Strikes Back scene with Luke Skywalker and Yoda on his back, and it was really good what he said, wasn't it?
Yeah, he also took pictures of Gerard Butler in London Has Fallen and all the other cast members, which I thought was quite cool.
That's right. And then we had lunch after that, and after lunch we were introduced to an indie director. Do you remember his name?
His name was Joseph.
I'm
I'm going to butcher the last name. I don't want to say it wrong, but we will be meeting him again tomorrow, so I'm sure we can get the name tomorrow.
I've got the name written down, but I thought I'd leave Jessica to say the name because
I know it's Joseph.
Yeah.
And it begins with an A.
So he's an indie director and stuff, and he was saying, he made a good points as a director. You need to control your pace if you're directing. So when an actor does a particular scene, that actor will look at you and for your approval, basically, and you know, you've got to hide that impression and sort of, you know, what you actually thought.
Yeah. I also liked his mentioning on script work. He said, create a script that's like kind of free, you know, up to actors' interpretation, because you don't want to have a script where it's like even the director as well up for interpretation for them, because you don't want to have one that has a very specific, like, oh, look at the footprints in the sand, like he said. Whereas he suggested, instead of doing that, have a man walking on the beach, because then the actor can do what they want, the director can do what they want, and envision it
It's
in a
the way
different,
you
more
word it,
creative
isn't it?
way.
So you could start with like a man walking on the beach. You could start with a wide angle lens, so you've got to see behind,
You've
that
also
sort
got
of thing.
to consider colour and the message that spreads out, like the connotations of what colours there are. So like red can mean like attention and love,
Yeah, that's right.
and stuff like that.
So I do think we have learnt a lot from day one. I'll go through my thoughts tomorrow, obviously, when the day's complete. And then we were left with, we got given a scene script, about 3 or 4 pages long. I'll put that on screen now. We had to basically take the non-essential stuff out, and then we had to act it out. So we've got like 7 people in our group, which we got put in.
I was a co-director.
Co-director. I got the only part that was left, which was a script supervisor. I mean, come on, me, script supervisor. I wanted to be an actor. And a script supervisor. One, I'm struggling to keep up. reading the script because I'm not the brightest spark, and I've got the actors looking at me expecting me to give them their next line. It's just it's nuts. But
I had fun with my role though. I got to oversee the camera work, and then I got to tell the actors where to move to.
I just didn't get the best role, so that's a bit disappointing. But you know, we'll continue that tomorrow, and we're going to head back now to the car and head off home. Good morning, day 2. Just picked Jessica up. How are you today?
Very tired and hot.
Did you sleep last night?
No.
It was extremely hot. It's 8:05, running a little bit late today. We've got to be there at 9:30. A little bit late because I went and picked the paper up. It's a little bit cooler than yesterday, 24 degrees at the moment. So I reckon it's going to go up.
It said on the news last night it might go up to like 34 degrees. So
yeah.
Not looking
when I shot the video yesterday morning, it was already over 24 at 7:20. So a little bit later today and it's already cooler. Just reflecting on it yesterday, Jean Ma mentioned, what do you think when you say a sci-fi movie? Well, the first thing that came into my head was Star Wars, because I'm obviously mad on Star Wars. A couple of people said Interstellar. He said, how about Marvel? You don't really think of Marvel as a sci-fi, do you?
No, I wouldn't have thought of that, but
let me know in the comments what you actually think. And also reflecting on yesterday again, which I forgot to actually mention, the indie director Joseph. And one thing I picked up on what Joseph said, and this is what sometimes I actually say when I'm watching a TV drama or a real bad film, I often say the acting was terrible. But Joseph said perhaps it's not the acting that is actually bad. Perhaps it's the way they're directed. They're not directed properly in the moment. You don't often think, you don't really think about that they're not directed properly in the moment. And Joseph also said, never impose your own ideas on an actor, because an actor will always have their own ideas. From what I've got from the people we've actually seen yesterday, actors are they don't like actors. The actors have their own quirks. Yes, that's the impression I'm getting. And he also went on to say, I don't think anybody out there could ever direct Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. Okay, that's enough waffling from me because it's 8:10. Let's head off back to BeaconsfieldStudios. We'll see you there. So we finally arrived in Beaconsfield. Just parked the car up and just walking to BeaconsfieldStudios. Complete nightmare. 9:10. It took an hour. The M40 was closed, so we had to find an alternative route. I just didn't expect it to be an hour's trip today, being a Saturday. So let's take a look at today's schedule. Day 2, Saturday the 12th of July 2025. 9:30, we got Soundscapes Unleashed, the magic of sound. That's quite a long one looking at that, 9:30 to 11:15. Then we're having a break. And when we come back from break at 11:30, we got editing, enchantment, craft your own visual story. That sounds quite interesting. That's for 2 hours. Then we've got a lunch break at 1:30, so a bit earlier than yesterday. 2:15, we got the art of producing for film, lights, camera, production. I think that's quite a big company. I remember seeing that in Shepperton Studios when I was a postman. And then we got a recap. Key takeaways from each session, encouragement to continue exploring various TV and filmmaking roles. And then we got a final QA, and then complete your feedback forms. And then roughly around about 5 o'clock, the end of the day, and we head back home. Right, let's head off to Beaconsfield Studios, which is just over there. So we've just walked back from BeaconsfieldStudios back to the car after day 2 has finished. The day started off with film designer Jane Lowe coming in. If you don't know her, she's worked on series 6, is it?
Series 6
of Black Mirror. Means nothing to me because I never watched Black Mirror, but I have heard of Black Mirror. Yeah, she had quite a few good things to say. Anything you can say about her?
I liked how she was very passionate about it. She talked about how she got her passion for sound when she was actually in university. She didn't really know much about sound, but when she was studying in uni, she did like a little project, and she ended up working for a little small project where she ended up learning lots of skills on sound and stuff, and that's how she developed into what she does today.
There's a few things I picked up on what she said, which I have written down because I have taken notes. The first thing she said that I picked up on, you don't really think about it as a whole project of a film, but 50% of sound makes up the final project. She mentioned the film Hereditary. They use a different sound called sub-bass. You can't hear it, but you can feel it. So that's interesting if you watch if you watch the film Hereditary again, might be worth thinking about if you can actually...
Depends on the system you've got, though.
Does depend on the system you got.
So if you don't have the right equipment, you might not be able to feel the uneasiness that it should create.
Well, I'm definitely going to give it a go on my speakers and see if I can feel it, because I never noticed it and I have actually seen it. And she mentioned also like sound, clean dialogue of voice and background. So you can, us as YouTubers, we're always creating... You've got your picture, you've got your sound. I've learned how to split that because you taught me that. There was a couple of videos I've done in the past. One of them that sticks out in mind was Titanic, my Titanic video, and I was at Southampton Docklands filming a particular scene, and it was so windy and rough, and you could hardly hear my voice. And I think that's what I picked up on. What I should have done is film that and film my voice separate, and then I could have lowered the sound of the wind and raised my voice up. Where you do it in one take down there, like someone filming me talking with that wind in the background, can't do anything about that. But if you separate the two and film it, record it separately, as you all know, because those of you that are on YouTube are probably doing that already, but that's what I should have done. I did actually sort of wish I'd done that now. And also ADR sound. Now ADR is she mentioned she showed us a clip basically of Hugh Jackman from Wolverine, who played Wolverine, as you all know. He's running through the woods, and he's actually, they showed a clip of him recording ADR, and he's doing all the sound effects in the studio, isn't he? So and what you're trying to get at, or what I'm trying to get at, is if you're an actor and you're running through the woods, there's no way in the world you're going to run through the woods while filming, also going and and growling and stuff, because you're knackered, because you're human and you're an actor. So that's where ADR comes in. The next person we had in, we had an editing guy come in called Christopher Chow. He's done the editing on Casualty and a few other films, and this, what I picked up on, which is on screen now, was the editing timeline for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And he was saying it takes 2 to 3 years to actually edit a big movie like that. Have you got anything to say on
it was just very
the editing, what you thought?
Interesting to see how they split it into reels, and then so it creates kind of like a pipeline for production, because you'll have one reel, they'll work on it. Once the editing is done, they'll lock it, and then they'll move on to the next one, but they can then send that reel off to sound production and stuff like that, which I thought was very interesting.
Yes, that's right. And these are the three bad editing movies. You might want to check them out on YouTube. Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, that was one of my favourite films, because obviously I'm a Queen fan, and I never knew they had bad editing, but I could see why, because he did show us. Obviously I can't explain it in the car and stuff. And going back to the sound producer as well, we watched how A Quiet Place was actually filmed for sound, and they use a sound studio, isn't it, called Foley, basically, and it's live action sound. So that's a ultra quiet studio where they're playing the movie and they're doing the live sound to that movie. And like for those monsters or aliens in A Quiet Place, they were like using crab legs and twisting crab legs and stuff like that. That's how they got the sound for that.
It's always been one of those sort of things that has always interested me. It's actually like I've always kind of gone and looked that sort of stuff up, because I quite like just the way they do it and how creative they can actually get with it. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, and then we had lunch, and then Joseph, we had
before lunch, I would like to say, in the editing part, we also got showed the short film. What was it called again? It was I do have it.
While she's finding that, I'm just going on about in the afternoon we had Joseph back, and he was saying, talking about how you get funding for movies, and you can, before you go to the BFI, you can go to national or regional funding if you want to make a movie, this is, or short film. So national or regional, and then after that you can go to Film 4 and BBC Films. They will also help you, and then you can go to the BFI. I found that side of things, when Joseph was talking, quite interesting. Then it went on to more about funding, and it was a good 2 and a bit hours of funding, and
I know it's a necessary step, and it would help if you are going to go into the production, like being a producer or a director, wanting to start your own thing. But it's a lot of information to consume, and I feel like they should have created a more interactive way of doing it, rather than just lay the information on us, because it was around about
it's possibly over 2.5 hours, and I was struggling. It was going way over my head, struggling to keep awake. And you know, there's a lot of people, there weren't really many people into production there, but he was talking about production, and obviously you got to do that for the people that are there. What were you going to say? Sorry, about rewind.
So we got showed a short film called Raging Grace, which was it Christopher Chow? He was the editor on it, and he showed us like the raw clip or raw first edit that they had created for this short film. Then he would show, no, we changed this and changed this to make the intro more like of a hook, and they just showed the process of editing it, and then in the end they showed the actual film, and it was very interesting, very engaging, and I actually really enjoyed it.
You liked that bit, didn't you? And then, sorry, let's catch up with Joseph. He said there's other ways for production companies to make money after films, and it's on screen now, but he did actually highlight there is still a niche for DVDs. For all us DVD movie collectors out there, there's still a niche for that. So fingers crossed we'll keep physical media. So I'm going to speak about what I got out of this 2-day training. It didn't really help me. As a YouTuber, I'm already doing or touching on the basics of what they said. However, I am into movies. I did find it very interesting. I was there to support you. and found it really interesting about movies. There's 2 days. There's good bits, there's bad bits. You know, I'd say boring bits and bits you're into. Everyone's different and everyone's into certain things. And like I say, but personally, as a YouTuber, or try and be a YouTuber, it didn't really help me in that aspect of things. I like the way there's a lot of young people there. I was probably the second oldest person there. I like the way they were swapping numbers and stuff. These are people that want to be directors and editors, that sort of thing. I like the way they were swapping numbers, and the best of luck to those people. It was well run. You cannot fault the way it was well run. A lot of people that came in were very experienced in that industry. However, I would have liked aircon in the room because it was bloody hot and the chairs were quite uncomfortable as well. But I found it interesting, but personally I didn't really get much out of it where I wanted to go, because I'm not in the film industry, but I am kind of on the YouTube industry. So, you know, it's but hopefully I can help a few of you guys out there who want to maybe do the cluster next year or later in the year, that sort of thing. But Jessica was the main person that wanted to do this. You tried last year and didn't get in. So what did you get out of it? Did it help you? Do you want to, you know, pursue a career in that now?
So I have kind of a background in media studies, like studying it at school. So a lot of it was very similar to that. So I already had a lot of background knowledge, but I thought some of it was more enhanced than what I have learned. So I could apply my knowledge as well as like learn some new things, which I thought was very good. For me, I would say the sound part, I liked how they kind of like said all the different roles that you could do, because I am interested in sound quite a lot. I'm also interested in the editing section as well, so it's definitely those two were my more engaging parts. I would also have to say it was very inspiring when we were doing like the directing session, and we were getting shown like feature films and stuff, because before I never even thought about creating or even like working on a feature film, but now I might consider it, because it's like actually a very interesting area to work on, and it'd be hard work, but also it would pay off in the end, because you'd have a piece of work which you could share with others. I was going to say something else, but I might have forgotten. Let me think for a second.
And hopefully you might get into the other courses that you've applied for as well, with the SFX and the makeup side of things, which I think was in October and that sort of thing. So, you know, you might get into that as well. So you might find that more interesting.
Yeah.
And all that.
Have
you remembered?
I think I was going to say, like, it's just like, yeah, there were some parts that I didn't really like, and I did think could have been more practical.
I was going to say there should be more practical,
because this is what I was hoping. On the outline, they were actually saying we were going to get an opportunity to edit some clips. We never actually did that.
It was just all about finance, wasn't it?
It was like
day 2.
That was what I was looking forward to actually for today, and we didn't do that, so it was kind of disappointing in that side. I also did like, though, the opportunity that you get to speak with like the people. They always gave lots of opportunity. Towards the end, I did end up speaking to Gene, and I was asking him about his model boxing and his miniature arts that he does, because that really interested me. And I asked him, how long do they actually take you to make? And then he said to me, they range from anywhere from like 2 weeks, like the one he showed us in the session yesterday, to up to like a year for like the Godfather one that he created, which I thought was very interesting because I didn't think they would actually take as long as that, but yeah, learn something new.
So you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah.
Bit like me, found it interesting, good bits and bad bits, and you already said you would pursue a film in that industry if you're given a chance.
Yeah. I still probably wouldn't focus on that as a career path for me, but it's
you gave it a go.
I would do on the side as a hobby, and there were lots of opportunities to network as well, which I thought was pretty good.
Great stuff. That's brilliant. So that's all we've really got to say on the BFI London Film Cluster Bootcamp training at BeaconsfieldStudios.
Nothing else from me.
No, really. I definitely, if you're into movies, TV, that sort of thing, or you want to pursue a career in that industry,
definitely helpful for that.
It's helpful, isn't it? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe if you can. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.